the mind. The mind, it's in the mind. The spirit is willing, but the mind is weak. And I need to be transformed by the renewing of my mind when it comes to a lot of things. Feeling frustrated easily, growing very impatient, feeling a little bit bitter about a lot of different things. And that usually means that having a complaining and grumbling spirit is a result of not rejoicing in the Lord. Rejoice in the Lord always. Philippians is really great when it comes to transforming your perspective. I'd been at a place where I needed to really just make myself think differently about something. So the issue is reconditioning our minds so that we're thinking positively, essentially, but in a righteous way, instead of focusing on all that is negative, which causes you to be hesitant about your approach to something, or negligent, or stressed out, or evasive, or anxious. It's really the way you think about something that is going to cause you to handle things, deal with anything well. So now we've got to be transformed by the renewing of our minds, right? That's easy, right? Here's a practical way of doing it. Paul gives us our strategy. It's how you think and what you dwell on. Philippians 4. And let me just read the context of what I was trying to focus on, which is verses 8 through, I guess it's just verse 8. This is what caused me to think this way. He says, rejoice in the Lord always. I'll say it again. Rejoice! Exclamation point. Let your graciousness be known to everyone. The Lord is near. And don't worry about anything, but in everything through prayer and petition with thanksgiving, present your requests to God. And the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your hearts and minds in Christ Jesus. Finally, brothers and sisters, whatever is true, whatever is honorable, whatever is just, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is commendable, if there's any moral excellence, and if there's anything praiseworthy, dwell on these things, as well as doing what we have learned and received and heard from him and seen in him, and the peace of God will be with us. I'm going to stop there. It's that verse 4. Or really it's the verse 5. When I was in such an upset, like I was just complaining a lot, I decided, God, enough. I need to be thankful. I need to have a heart of gratitude, an attitude of gratitude, so that I'm not complaining. If you go 2 chapters over in Philippians 2, it says, do all things without grumbling and complaining. He said all things. I don't care if it's the dishes, cleaning up, raising your children, being a wife, being a spouse of any, I guess if you're a man watching this, being a husband, being a minister, being a teacher, being a lawyer, being a doctor. Don't have no complaints is what Paul is saying. And that's hard. But it's not my complaints that lead to a change. It's going to be my thoughts that lead to a change. Many years ago, back in the 4th or 5th grade, I got a planner and a quote in there said, if you don't like something, change it. If you can't change it, change the way you feel about it. That actually happens to be from a woman whose body of work I quite enjoy, Maya Angelou. And it was written in this planner so long ago, but it made such an impact. And I pretty much lived a lot of my life on that. Like, okay, like, why are you complaining? Do something, right? One of the things I was complaining about, I couldn't really do anything to change it. So what I realized was, I need to change the way I thought. My first step to doing that was to pray a prayer of thanksgiving. Rejoicing is hard to do when you're bitter, when you're not gracious, when you're anxious, or when you're worried or stressed out. So I couldn't possibly rejoice in the Lord unless I acknowledged the Lord in what I was going through. The next way that I transformed my thinking was that I focused on verse 8 of Philippians. Whatever is true, honorable, just, pure, lovely, commendable, with moral excellence or praiseworthy. I chose to dwell on 8 factors of the thing. So if you're trying to think positive about something, you can't just think the truth that also happens to be a negative, right? Like, because sometimes a positive plus a negative can still be negative. But what you want is to make sure that that positive thought makes you think positively. Let's use my dog as an example. Man's best friend, my man's best friend, not mine. I am growing annoyed. I think it's just because I have a child now, and having an elderly dog and a toddler, is quite demanding. I needed to just take a chill pill because my dog was frustrating me, and I was thinking very negatively about her. And if you're not careful, that'll make you treat this poor dog wrong. And I don't want to do that. So I had to change what I was thinking. She is a kind dog. She loves children. She loves, she's gentle, she's faithful, she's loyal. She's an example of persistence. Like, how the dogs wait around at the master's table for the bread, That automatically made me approach her differently. Whereas a minute before, I was just like rolling my eyes at the side of her and bickering at her like she cared. But now I'm more gentle, and I'm just like, come here, old dog. We were old friends. It's as simple as thinking as many true things, as many honorable things, as many just things. It's important to change the way you think about something because it will change your perspective. If you're struggling even to think, this passage says that we can pray. If you recognize that you are not able to be gracious, then there's some bitterness somewhere that you need to bring before the Lord in prayer. If you think that you're not able to rejoice, you don't have joy, well, definitely pray. And as you are praying, make a list, make 8 columns, make 1 column true, 1 column honorable, 1 column just. Let's use Sarah again. What's true about Sarah? She's a dog that's faithful. What's honorable? She's kind and gentle to children. She loves children and enjoys playing with them. What is pure? She's a dog. She's not ill intent. She's literally just acting on instinct. And most of the time, her instincts are to protect me and my children and my family. What's praiseworthy? Moral excellence is hard in an animal, but you just run down the list and you be sure to find the things that apply. If you do these things, peace truly is with you. Peace. And then even maybe you get a little more motivated about doing the thing. Maybe you get a little bit more excited. Maybe you feel more refreshed, and maybe you feel a burden lifted off of you. That's anxiety lifting. So let's change the way we think. Let us start to focus on the good. Let us start to really take delight in the power we have from God to have insight to see things as they really ought to be, despite how they are. I hope it helps somehow. It sure helped me. So I'm just sharing. Thanks. Love you. God bless.